Right.
Standing up. What else?
That's it. I mean, standing up isn't a threat.
What about taking steps forward?
It depends on how many steps you take and if you're stepping up into somebody. I mean, I could stand up and take 2 steps, but there's no one here.
What about what he was saying? How would that factor into your threat assessment?
So, what he was saying was not good, and it was offensive. However, it wasn't a threat per se.
And are you basing that just on about a little minute plus of audio that was actually captured, or are you basing it on the witness statements about everything he said?
I'm basing that on the general reaction by people in that area. I did not see anybody react to the point where they appeared to perceive his language as an immediate threat. The 2 girls got up and moved. Now maybe they perceived that, I don't know.
Well, why don't you know? You've just made a generalization that people didn't perceive it as a threat, but then you backed off and said, well, but maybe the girls thought it was a threat.
Well, that's because
Which is it?
They got up and moved. Other people just sat there.
Okay, so it's reasonable to believe that they thought it was a threat, is it not?
Could be, yes.
You've written some articles, but you don't know for whom, or you don't remember for whom?
So years ago, I wrote a couple articles for firearms-related magazines related to self-defense, but it was it's over 15 years ago.
And you put things on your website like about self-defense for civilians?
Articles on use of force.
Like self-defense for civilians?
Correct.
That was the most recent one, right? Part 1 and 2 that you published on your website in December?
I don't, maybe. I don't remember when.
You run your own website?
What's that?
You run your own website?
Yeah, but I don't keep track of when I post stuff. I mean, I don't.
So 6 weeks ago, you don't remember if you posted something about self-defense for citizens?
Oh, I probably did.
Okay. But you're not sure?
I'm not going to say for sure 6 weeks ago.
Sometime in December?
Probably.
Maybe, probably?
It was probably in December. I don't remember the exact date.
What was it about?
I think the last thing I posted was, could hands and feet be deemed deadly weapons in court? I think. I might have posted one after that, a different one.
And you know now that we're talking about an incident on a train, right?
Correct.
Were you unsure of that before today?
Well, I didn't know for sure if it was technically called the train.
I said, what did you think it might be called?
The Max. In Idaho, we think trains is, like a locomotive on a railway.
I forgot you're from Idaho, and you live in Idaho?
I live in Eagle, Idaho.
You live in Eagle, which is a suburb of Boise?
Correct.
And your shop is in Nampa, is that right?
My training center's in Nampa.
When you use the analogy gasoline on a fire, Mr. Christian's the fire in that analogy, is that right?
He was pretty agitated.
So Mr. Christian's the fire in that analogy, is that right?
No.
No. So when you use the analogy throwing gasoline on a fire, and you use it to say that someone like Michael Fletcher would be throwing gasoline on a fire in his actions, who's the fire? Where's the fire? What's the fire in that analogy? Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, I do understand your analogy.
So what's the fire?
So when you approach somebody that's agitated in the manner that Mr. Fletcher did, I guess you could refer that to as potentially the fire, but that's potentially. It becomes the fire when you escalate that situation like Mr. Fletcher did.
So just playing out the analogy, if I throw gasoline on the ground when there's no source of ignition, that's not a fire, right?
Correct.
But if I throw gasoline on an already burning fire, then it makes it bigger. Isn't that the purpose of that analogy that you used to describe this situation? Yes or no?
What I was referring to was when you approach somebody that's already agitated, but they're not agitated to the point where they're physically violent yet, and you push them like Mr. Fletcher pushed Mr. Christian, then that becomes adding gasoline to a fire because you're creating the fire.
To a fire, adding gasoline to a fire. A fire that's already exists in your analogy. Isn't that right? I mean, this is not complicated. Yes or no?
No, I don't agree specifically with what you're saying.
You said it.
I think the way that I'm explaining it is different.
Okay. Do you have any scientific studies about this 6 to 8 foot proximity principle with you?
So the police officer that did that, he did measure that off, videoed it. It's been used for many years. It's a well-established training modality. I have done it, measured it, videoed it, tested it, and it's a common training paradigm that's used across the nation.
Now, we're not talking about the 21-foot rule, right? I asked you about the 6 to 8 foot proximity.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
just trying to keep this straight.
Yeah. No, my ears are really plugged from cold. I misheard you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, that's just from years of training. No scientific.
Okay, got it. So it's sort of hard to call it a proximity principle when it's not based on any sort of science or anything, right?
It's from my experience.
Yeah. So, not scientific, right?
I have not seen a scientist do a study on that.
How do you describe something that is put into someone's face? Put in his face. Put in his face. We heard that several times. Well, I mean, where's the line between filming someone or videoing someone and putting something in someone's face? How close does something have to be to someone before it's in their face?
That's going to depend on the person.
Which person?
The person whose face it's in.
I see. You've watched, you said there's like 120 videos, and you've watched most of them in this case?
I watched all the videos that I was given. It's over 121.
So it's 122 if it's over 121?
I counted 121.
Okay, so 121.
Yeah.
And I asked you yesterday, have you seen the compilation videos? Did you watch them after we talked yesterday?
No, I wasn't asked. I wasn't given them. I wasn't asked to look at them.
And so there's 3 in particular. One that shows the stabbing sequence slowed down 50%. Don't you think it would have been helpful to your analysis to have seen that?
I don't know without seeing it.
Well, let's just talk about it in general. Even the title, stabbing sequence slowed down 50%. You're not telling me that it wouldn't be helpful to your analysis to see that, are you?
It could have. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I mean, there's videos in there that I saw that really had nothing to do with my analysis that I watched.
How long did you spend watching those?
I watched all of them.
Okay. But you have not watched, even though at least as of 20 hours ago, you were aware of the existence of a video that shows, a compilation video that shows everything slowed down 50%. Haven't watched it.
Right, so when we talked about it, I wasn't told that it would slow down 50%. I was unaware of that. This is the first time hearing of that.
Uh-huh.
And I was not asked to review it. And I assumed that if they thought that it would have helped me, they would have asked me to review it.